It gives me great pleasure to invite Dr. Ashley to address the congregation.
I promise it won't be long. My lords, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me enormous pride to be here to accept this honor. I'd like in particular to thank Barry Kushner for last year endeavoring to make me a citizen of honor. This year, I'd like to thank Darren Mooney for inviting me here to become a Doctor of Law. I'd also like to thank somebody who's not here, Father Chris, who showed me around the church and the school that I went to as a child in Liverpool. I went to church every day, but I very rarely went to school. I was mostly on Lord Derby's estate, poaching rabbits. And also, it was very moving for me to see the streets and walls of my childhood and find out how much I remembered so clearly, because it was amazing to go into that church and point out to Father Chris some of the things that had existed when I was a child that was new to him. And if you will allow me to go down memory lane, in Liverpool during the Second World War, I was a child with my family living in Pitt Street. Pitt Street was very close to the docks and the overhead railway, which is no longer here. And when I was 6 years old, and by the way, the Germans tried to get that. When I was 6 years old, I took a job with the milkman delivering milk. And when it came to part, because we didn't have an air raid shelter, we had 24 hours to be moved away. And we moved out to a place called Norris Green. The milkman was lovely, and his name was Mr. Jones. And as I was saying goodbye to Mr. Jones, he said to me, "You know, you're an extraordinary child, and you have an extraordinary aura." So as soon as I got home, of course, I asked my mother what an aura was, but she didn't know what it was. And he said to me, when I said, "Mr. Jones, what is an aura?" He said, "One day you'll find out." Then he paused and put his hand on my chin and said, "But I'm afraid you've got a difficult time ahead of you." We shook hands very formally, as you did in those days. Then he said, "By the way, you've been calling the horse Daisy for the last 6 months. It's not Daisy, it's Dave." I said, "What do you mean, Dave?" He said, "Well, didn't you ever look?" I said, "Look at what?" He tweaked my ear and said, "Go on, get home." When I was 10 years old, I went to work at St. John's Market for a couple called John and Edna Lundy. And it's there that I learned there were poor people and there were rich people. I used to stay in their luxury flat on the outskirts of Liverpool. And there were 3-course meals and be allowed a sip of wine with my dinner. But getting back home, the larder would be rather bare, unless I'd been in the fields. That's why I am never hungry to this day. I never suffer from hunger. There was never any food at home. The Lundys kind of adopted me, and they used to take me out for treats to the theatre. And one of the first concerts I came to was in this very hall in 1945. So that was 3 years after this building was built. And one of the first concerts I ever saw, it was a Peruvian woman called Ima Zumac singing. Well, she didn't sing, actually. She made these noises, 5 octaves. And I adored the concert, and the singer was very beautiful. But a few days later, the Lundy showed me a critique about Ima Zumac, which I think you'll find quite amusing. It said, Ima Zuma, who calls herself a princess, is actually a housewife from the Bronx. I was enraptured. In 2008, I had the great honor to close the Year of Culture for Liverpool. Following this, Gary Everett of Homertopia approached to see if I'd be interested in having an exhibition at the Museum of Liverpool. Of course, I said yes. A team of people worked very hard on this. Miss Beverly Eyre particularly, and Miss Louise Muddle. They are both here tonight. And believe it or not, 930,000 people went to that exhibition. So I was very proud of that. And my old friend, John Prescott, very kindly opened it. Now, when I first met Mr. Prescott, it was when we worked in a hotel in Wales in the 1950s. He was a sous chef, and he had to show me his fingers before I'd let him go in the kitchen. So when he became Lord Prescott and he was the Deputy Prime Minister of England, or Great Britain, I wrote to him and he wrote to me, and he helped, I think, with being finally legally recognized as a woman. So the last thing I have to say really is that, first of all, I congratulate you all on your endeavors tonight, and I thank everybody here, and I bless you all and wish you all a very good night, and thank everybody.